goes to Afana Afor. Next, we have the Eddie Ray Collier Sportsmanship Award, and this goes to the senior who's exhibited outstanding sportsmanship in all the sports that he's participated in. And this year, the award goes to Jason Hess. Next is the Stimp Hawkins Award. This goes to the senior who's contributed the most to the entire athletic program, and this year the award goes to Malik Johnson. And then finally we have the Athletic Directors Award, which goes to the senior who has contributed the most to a program over 4 years, and that award goes to Noah Jesse.
Now I'll get my cell phone out during school hours. I'll take the walkabout. Moving to the academic portion of the program for this next bit now, so I'll start off by announcing those seniors who earned Headmaster's List honors for the spring trimester. We've got a rather complex system of generating our honors lists here, but the short form is that you must carry an average of 90 or better and be carrying a course load that is appropriate to your grade level of full course load. So, those seniors who have earned Headmaster's List for the spring trimester: Spencer Amon. Spencer's also earned it for the year. Abdallah Bashir. Abdallah also has earned this for the year. Charles Gow. Charles has also earned Headmaster's List for the year. Jason Hess. Jason Hess has also earned Headmaster's List for the year. Nick Howe. Nick Howe has also earned Headmaster's List for the year. Cole Jackson. Shinyi Jim Jong. Andrew Link, and Andrew has earned Headmaster's List also for the year. Daisuke Shirashi. Zihang Tom Wang. And Jojo, who has also earned Headmaster's List for the year.
everybody. I'm Dave Welty, Supreme Leader and Dictator for the Life of the Visual Arts Department. I've prepared a short scene.
Do they, Gandalf?
I am not a conjurer of cheap tricks.
If you want him, come and claim him.
You have my sword.
And my bow.
And my axe.
Many spies have many eyes.
You shall not pass.
My precious.
Potatoes! Fry 'em, mash 'em, put 'em in a stew.
There's thousands of them and so few of us will never make it. We made it.
I may not be able to carry the ring, Mr. Frodo, but I can carry you.
The eagles.
That was the Lord of the Rings, abridged. The recipient of this year's Visual Art Award is a huge Lord of the Rings fan, so I wanted to give him one last laugh before he left. And it will be no surprise to anyone who's been here in the last few years. A few things to know about Plug. Plug has been outside twice. Once when he arrived on his flight on the freshman trip, and we immediately sent him into the woods for a week. And once on the senior trip, where he got a standing ovation when he arrived at his final destination. But as Plug says, it means nothing to me. So luckily, the only time he'll go outside now is when he's going to GameStop. Other things to know about Plug: he might look like he's just drawing and not taking notes, but when you zoom into the eye of that phoenix, he'll have his math equation tucked in there, nice and snug. He has an iron stomach, and no spicy food can thwart him. He eats the Braveheart wings at Buffalo Wild Wings like I eat cheddar cheese popcorn, but he does have a kryptonite, which is vegetables. I've never seen him eat one of those, which is, I can attest to last night. He had a giant pile of meat covered in pepper last night. He also has silk pajamas, and if you're going to have silk pajamas, you should have a different color for each day of the week. And one of my favorite memories, Plug stayed with me the last 3 Thanksgivings at my house, and my wife said, you know, what are we going to do without an awkward Asian teenager staying in our house during Thanksgiving? And one of my favorite memories is when he came down with me to do a chalk mural on the wall of the restaurant my wife was managing. And it became a rumor around the restaurant, and then they came up and asked me, they said, is that your son? And I at first I was like, have you looked at Plug? Like, I was like, oh, they think I adopted him. But I really feel like if I did adopt a kid, I really wish that he would be as weird and eccentric and talented and brilliant as my 4-year art student, P-L-U-G Plug.
Morning, I'm Jerry King, Performing Arts Department, this time theater. Bizarrely, counterintuitively, I can't touch that. For the DeAngelis Award for Excellence in Drama. For consistent hard work in production after production, year after year. For graciously accepting roles, large and small. For freely contributing his talents in administration, acting, singing, but not dancing. Thank you very much. And this year for nailing his roles of Arthur Burling and Schroeder. The DeAngelis Prize for Excellence in Drama goes to Zachary Tevin.
Good morning. I'm John Young. I'm chair of the English department. And it is my pleasure today to present the English Award To a member of the senior class who has distinguished himself in the study of American literature. This year's recipient not only has maintained one of the highest overall averages in his class, he's done something even more significant. He has achieved remarkable success in the study of literature written in a language that is not in his native tongue. He was born in China and raised speaking that nation's language. He came to America only a few years ago, and yet he has handled the reading of such American authors as Melville, Hawthorne, Fitzgerald, and Faulkner. Faulkner is no easy task, with a depth of understanding and insight that has placed him at the top of the honors section. He comes into class well informed about the work of the literature assigned, but more importantly, he grasps its larger themes and implications. I love it when this young man raises his hand in class, for I know that it will lead to an interesting comment or discussion. I'm most pleased to present the English Award to Zhou Zhao.
Good morning. My name is Crystal Roach, and I'm a Spanish teacher at Blue Ridge School. Today I have the privilege of presenting the Spanish Award. The student I chose for this award is one of the most hardworking young men I've ever had the opportunity to teach. If I were to give a project to be due a week from today, it would surely be done by tonight. We share the same political views, so naturally he has chosen me to be his vice president when he runs for president. And it is with great honor to give the award for Spanish to Spencer Amon.
Good morning. I'm Marcia Kozlowski, Chair of the Foreign Language Department. And the Andrew Proctor Award is for a student who has love and respect for languages. I'm honored to give this award to a student who has taken a step forward in learning Portuguese. During the first year in my class, we had many arguments, and it took some time before we understood each other. I will miss him. Every project he did, he took it seriously and dedicated his time. He learned fast and reached a good level of proficiency. He will continue studying Portuguese in college, and I'm very proud of him. Si chao in. And I have another award. And this award is a very special award for a very special young man. When he started the Portuguese program, he was my first student. And from that time on, we had the opportunity to learn from each other. He's kind, polite, and fun. I enjoyed having him in my class. I knew he was at a good level of Portuguese, but I had the proof when I heard him speaking to a Brazilian friend of mine, and he was fluent. I'm very proud of him for his effort and dedication, and this award goes to Jose Espinosa. Miss E for the Mandarin Award.
Hi, my name is Hai Ruoyi, and I'm the Chinese teacher here. The Superior Effort Award I'm giving to today is to a senior who has studied Chinese for 3 years with consistent dedication, enthusiasm, and effort. I chose this particular student is because of his ability to face challenges and conquering difficulties. All his achievements stem from his tenacious effort, an effort that he's shown from his sophomore year till today without any senioritis. He will continue with Chinese in college, and with such dedication, I'm confident in his future success. I'm honored and proud to present this award to Muhammad Shakil.
Most years, any one of about 9 seniors of the class of 2016 would be eligible to receive the History Award. This class was really blessed with talent and a great work ethic. There are 2 recipients this year, extremely able and conscientious. For excellence in the study of United States history, I'm pleased to present the History Award to Spencer Amon and Joe.
Jerry King again, this time the Humanities Award. For the senior who demonstrates a lively curiosity in what people have done, thought, said, made, and built. For a ponderer who thinks across categorical boundaries. For a citizen of the here and now who nevertheless respects the past and anticipates a future with clarity, hope, humor, and grit. And for a writer who articulates sound thinking in compelling and cogent prose, this year's Humanity Prize goes to Zhou Ziyue, Jojo.
Jerry Jared, and I am the chair of the math department. And I teach the upper level math classes, dual enrollment classes of pre-calculus, calculus, and advanced calculus. And this year we had 10 students in advanced calculus, which is a little unusual, and most of those guys, all but 2, had been in my class for 3 years in a row. And when you've had a teacher for 3 years in a row, sometimes they come in the 3rd year and they say, oh no, here we go again. And the guy that's going to win the mathematics award this year did not necessarily have the highest average, although he made a lot of progress throughout his 3 years. And I could tell in really small ways that he was growing in his love for math. He would smile when I would say something that I thought was interesting, participate in class, and this year's winner is Tom Wang.
Good morning, my name is Mike Vinson, and I am the Director of Instrumental Music here at the school. First, a huge thank you to all you guys who came through over the past years. Pick up a guitar, play it, play some piano, play some mandolin, play some bass. I truly, truly appreciate it. And a big thank you this year to Tony Wong for all his help in both 4th and 6th period. Tony is greatly appreciated. The winner of my senior award has been with me through every project that we've established here at the school, going back to the very, very first attempt at putting a band together in the spring. He was there playing piano. That version didn't quite work out, but next year it did, and he was there playing piano. We were able to take the momentum off Built a Rock and Roll Band to think about actually playing some jazz here at school. We began a band that was just meeting in the meeting periods, not as a class, and he was there playing keyboards and piano for me. That group became the first ever school pit band for the musical Pippin, and he was there playing the keyboard for me. We put that group from Pippin together in an elective group, made our first trip on the road that spring. The next year we met all year long, went on the road that spring, won a huge award, and he was there playing the keyboard for me. I will say that he's going to be studying engineering at the next level. And I think his first project, being the NFL fan that he is, will be to build a keyboard that will allow the musician to perform and play Madden NFL simultaneously. He's going to make a special version for right here in St. George, Virginia, that'll allow the piano player to perform, play Madden, and study for a Niederberger exam at the same time. These things can be done. Anyway, enough said. A young man I cannot thank enough for his presence. He's been a rock for me, always there. Professor Wong Zahong. Tommy, come on up, please.
And this time for the DeAngelis Award for Excellence in Vocal Music. For the graduating Blue Ridge singer who informed me on day one at the orientation table, Mr. King, I am going to sing in your choir. And he has done so. For the guy with the truest sense of pitch among us. For our national anthem singer, who will be moving on into High Point University's vocal music program on substantial scholarship. For our top tenor, who will be deeply missed, this year's DeAngelis Award for Excellence in Vocal Music goes to Zachary Temple.
Good morning, I'm John Baker. I'm the librarian here, and today I have the honor of presenting the award for outdoor education. So this gentleman, lots and lots of words that come to mind: reliable, responsible, dependable. But I think the real importance, or the real reason he's earning this award, is when he's participating in anything that involves the outdoors. His joy is both palpable and contagious. I'm proud to call him my advisee. And from this point forward, I'll be really proud to call him my friend. Harry Buchanan.
I've been sitting too long. How about the rest of you? Would you like to stand for a second? I barely did it. So anyway, my name is Brandon Dean. I teach math and science here. The muscle protecting the award is Jamie Borland. He's the science department chair. This award is for excellence and achievement in science. This student kept me straight this year. He made it look easy, but I know he worked really hard to make it look so. So, here you go, Jamie. This is a little weird. I don't know, can you open this one for me? value the Bass Pro Shop gift card. Do they have those in China? I don't know. At any rate, Charles Gow, come on up.
I'm going to be giving the scholarship award to the senior who has the highest grade point average for senior year. This comes with a check, which I will hold on to because for the last 6 years I've handed the check off and it's immediately been taken into the lake with the students. So we're going to end that vicious cycle today. But this student works very, very hard, not always calmly, but always with great passion. And he is a gentleman and a great guy. I'm honored to teach him, and I missed teaching him when he moved on. But the winner of this award is Spencer Ahn.
My name is Sam Fosdick. I'm the Alumni Director and Director of Annual Giving here. In 1911, University of Missouri's Athletic Director, Chester Brewer, asked alumni of the school to help inaugurate the new location of their football stadium by coming home to attend the annual football game against the University of Kansas. Brewer planned a celebration with parades, parties, a pep rally, and a football game against Mizzou's longtime rival, the University of Kansas. More than 10,000 alumni and fans attended the event, making it one of the first homecomings in the United States. Soon to be graduates of Blue Ridge School, I hope you will come home and visit us during one of our alumni football and golf weekends. We are proud of our alumni, and your success is proof that Blue Ridge is a great school. Please keep in touch with us and let us know what happens with your life. We get married, have kids, or achieve academic or career success. At this time, I'd like to announce that the Alumni Award goes to two individuals that I think will be great ambassadors of Blue Ridge, Mr. Jason Hess and Mr. Charles Gow.
At this point, we enter that part of the program where the school's most distinguished awards are to be presented. The recipients of the following awards were determined by a vote of the faculty. And by that vote, we intend to show both our very special respect for and appreciation of the several young men who will be called forth to receive the remaining awards listed on your program. We will begin with the Citizenship Awards. As you can see from your program, there are several distinct categories of citizenship awards. Beginning with the first. The faculty would like to recognize the following members of the senior class for their outstanding roles as citizens of this community. Who I ask you to step up here. Mohammed Shakir. Spencer Ahman. Scott Spencer. Charles Gow.
My name is David Cook. I am the Vice President of the Sons of the American Revolution. At this time, we'd like to honor the senior who exhibited qualities of dependability, cooperation, leadership, and patriotism. And that award goes to Connor Morgan.
Jerry Jarrett again. I will be presenting the Daughter of the American Revolution Good Citizenship Award to the senior who represents the qualities of honor, service, courage, leadership, and patriotism. And the first word that comes to my mind when I think of this student is respect. Mostly, I think we respect him for his athletic ability. His junior year at Blue Ridge, his first year, he was the most valuable player for the football team, the basketball team, and the track team. And I think he's also respected for his quiet leadership as a prefect, and he was chosen to give the last chapel speech. And in that speech, he quoted his childhood friend, DeMarcus Jackson. I thought it was worth repeating. Don't let the realities of the past or the possibilities of the future negatively affect the opportunities for peace, joy, and happiness of the present. And I really think this guy does a good job of living in the present, and I appreciate him and what he's done for Blue Ridge. And this award goes to Malik Johnson. I will also present the John L. Trimmer Citizenship Award to the senior whose citizenship is exceptional and deserves recognition. The student has also been up here already. You know him for his musical talent. He's also known by the other students and has this nickname of Grandpa. And I think that kind of like indicates his level of just responsibility. He was an unpaid adult in the library during study hall. He did a lot of other things for the Tuesday table, organizing students, and did a lot of work behind the scenes. I think we're all going to miss him. This award goes to Zachary Timmon.
My name is Brian Puckett. I'm the athletic director here, in case you weren't paying attention last time. So I get the honor of giving out the Edward M. McFarland Award that goes to the senior who has quietly but steadily embraced the Blue Ridge School's offerings and programs. And I guess when I think about this particular young man, the first thing that comes to my mind is hard work, perseverance, and just a great positive attitude. I've had the pleasure of having him in my FLC class this past year and got to witness just how great somebody can be and become if they just keep at something and just keep working. It's actually kind of cool that this award is also going to go to somebody who has a direct relation to a family member of the awards, who the award is named after. Todd McFarland had a big part in bringing Tay to Blue Ridge, and that opportunity that Tay has gotten and that he's embraced and that he has really put to good work will pay off into the future. And so it's my honor to give the Edward M. McFarland Award to Tay Watts.
Good morning. I'm Trip Darren, headmaster, and I'm very honored to present the Headmaster's Award to the senior for outstanding contributions to Blue Ridge School. Well timed. This year's recipient is a guy who I am particularly proud of. His time here was not always easy, yet he still made the most of his 2 years. And I feel like that has been to his benefit for sure, but I often think maybe much more so to our benefit as a school. This young man is a motivated and insightful student, and he's also an important member of 2 varsity teams, though he would tell you that he doesn't play a big role on either one. Most impressive to me has been his leadership on both the prefect and honor councils. He's not a vocal leader, though. Rather, he leads by example in a poised, conscientious, and mature way. Make no doubt, teachers, peers, and underclassmen alike listen to this guy very closely. In fact, this year, I've had what kind of verges on almost a blanket faith that wherever he may be, he's likely doing something good and helping out one of his brothers. When Mr. Hermanson and Mr. Bruton first conceived of restoring the freshman halls in Walsh Dorm, they jotted down and showed me the qualities of the prefect who they'd lean on to lead these dorms. They mentioned things like a guy who's strong, yet patient, someone workmanlike in their ability to coach daily 14 and 15-year-old boys who, for many of whom, have never lived away from home before. The young man who fulfilled that big brother role, and yes, was most happy yesterday when the freshmen left. The recipient of the Headmaster's Award for his many outstanding contributions to Blue Ridge School is Matthew Minford.
Morning. I'm John Hetzel. I'm a teacher at Blue Ridge. I teach French and freshman history. I also coach lacrosse. And I'm here to present the Roy Petty Award, which is given to the senior who's distinguished himself by unselfish service to the Blue Ridge School. Blue Ridge School, it's a great institution. Forges men, gives them great character, pride, and honor. When they come in, they don't always have that, but they definitely have the vestiges of it. As a sophomore, he was quiet, and I was really surprised when he decided he was taking a position of leadership. I said, okay, go for it. And not only did he take it, but he parlayed that into a career of leadership here at Blue Ridge School. As a sophomore, he learned his constituents, he learned what he needed to do to lead, and he did an awesome job and was rewarded by being named a proctor his junior year. As a senior, there's hardly anything he didn't do. He's a prefect, he's on the disciplinary committee, and the president of the senior council. This school forges men, but other men forge this school. And I'm very proud and honored to give this award to Jason Hess.
Still Denton Bruton, and I'm here to present the Thomas H. Wilcox Jr. Award to the prefect who has demonstrated outstanding leadership and service in the performance of his duties. Already mentioned, that's a tough job. It's a 24/7 job. leading one's peers is never easy. You're on display all the time, and your actions, for better or worse, they will take as a model for what they are either allowed or expected to do. Much has been said about this young man already. From an academic perspective, I'd just like to say I've really enjoyed being his advisor. I'm excited that he'll be remembered on a plaque that'll stay at the school, and his name will be on it, and you also get a check. I'll give it to your dad. Jojo.
I'm John Hensel. I think you guys know who I am, but yeah, I do teach ELL as well. I didn't mention that before. I teach ELL U.S. History and also ELL Advanced, which many of our international students have been to at one time or another. And I had the good fortune of having, well, I'm here to present, let's say about the award first. It's a Clark Worthington Award, which is given to the senior who's had the most wholesome influence on the school community during his years as a student and a leader. And yeah, ELL, he came in as a junior in fall trimester, and it was just way too good for the class. He was an incredible. It's all good. This is back on. But anyway, very determined young man. Incredible intelligence, incredible drive to succeed in school, and what I noticed about him in this class was, apart from his academic excellence, was his ability to lead the class. If people weren't focused on me, he was mad about that, and he made them focus on me, which was very impressive. I'd never had a student who took the class by the reins like that and led them. He wasn't a student leader, so I was unaware of his ability to lead, but it came shining forth in that class. He parlayed that into a position this year on the Honor Council, where he was an esteemed member. Mr. Niegerberger is a legend. His Honor Council is a big part of what we do here at Blue Ridge, which is character, being a model man. And this young man distinguished himself, and in Mr. Niegerberger's words, had great insights and could get to the heart of a matter quickly. He said he was a selfless role model with very high standards of honesty and integrity. Not only did he work tirelessly on the Honor Council, but he was a man that whenever there was community service going on at Blue Ridge, he was involved. And it's really amazing that he could carry a grade point average of almost straight A's and still do all the things he did for other people while he was here at Blue Ridge. We heard Chaplain West. Chaplain West, a shout out for all the candy that I ate this year. My girlish figure suffered as a result, but she had the good fortune of working with Abdallah in the tuck shop, where Abdallah did everything that you could do. He stocked the food, he cooked the food, he served the food, he took people's money, he went after them if they didn't pay the money, and did basically everything. He did the bookkeeping as well. He did it all with a smile, with a quick wit, and it was somebody that everybody loved to be around. Even if he was doing dirty work, he was still respected and well loved. It's my great privilege to award the Clark Worthington Award for 2016 to Abdallah Bashir.
My name is Hans Hermanson. I'm the director of Res Life and teacher of religious studies. And I'm here to present the St. George Award, which is recognized as our highest award that the school gives. And it is to the senior who has responded best to the Blue Ridge School philosophy and has demonstrated outstanding leadership. I'm going to keep this short before I get more choked up than I already am. This young man came to me 3 years ago in my advisory, and I think maybe said 10 words for the first 5 months that we knew each other. He was quiet, he was introverted, but he watched, and you could see the wheels turning, but he just wasn't going to tell you that the wheels were turning. And he has now become an incredibly recognized leader, not just among his peers, but recognized by the faculty as such as well. He came here with average grades and quickly became a regular on the deans and headmasters list. And he held himself to such a high standard that by his senior year, he was one of the leaders on a disciplinary committee. I'm now going to turn this over to Mr. Ignashevsky.
Before I get started, I just want to say thank you to the headmaster and the administration here at Blue Ridge School for giving me this wonderful opportunity to present this award and be in front of you today. For those who don't know me, my name is J.C. Ignashevsky, Senior Director of Development, and then I'm finishing my 8th year here. Also, just so happens I am the uncle of this recipient of this award. As my esteemed colleague just mentioned, this particular senior is a leader in every way, in the classroom, on the athletic field, and in our community. He has fully embraced himself in what Blue Ridge has had to offer him these 3 years. This year alone, as Mr. Hermanson had mentioned, prefect, member of the disciplinary committee, a captain on the lacrosse team, finalist for the highest GPA, and a contributor in all our community outreach programs. Furthermore, he's someone who thinks of others first before himself, and he lets his actions speak for himself. Quite simply, he's a fine example of what we want in a Blue Ridge student. I personally could not be any more proud than I am right now. He has done it all. My eyes are sweating. He's done it with class. He's done it with integrity. Well, nephew, you nailed it. So, without rambling on anymore, please join me in congratulating this year's St. George Award winner, Andrew Link.
Good morning, members of the faculty and administration of Blue Ridge School, members of the board, family, friends, now deep in the shadows, good move. Most of all, Blue Ridge class of 2016. Great day to be a Bearing, yes? Thank you for the honor and the privilege of talking to you today. Before we get fully underway, I'd first like to say thank you to the one who has most closely shared the adventures of these past 5 years with me here at Blue Ridge, actually the adventure of 31 years of marriage, my wise and wonderful and long-suffering wife, Laura. Thank you. For the past 2 years, I've had the privilege of teaching senior humanities here at Blue Ridge. Humanities is essentially the study of the stuff that makes us human. Important things that have happened in a society specifically or in the world generally. That's history. The best that has been thought and articulated, philosophy and literature. but also significant sounds that people have made, music, stories that they have reenacted, theater and film, objects that they have created for beauty's sake, the visual arts, buildings that they have built, architecture, beliefs they have held and acted on regarding good and evil, deity, life now, life beyond death. Basically, if people have done it, then you're allowed to study it in humanities. Isn't that sweet? Who wouldn't want a major like that? Just a recommendation. All these humanities lenses are focused on one underlying question, and that is what makes us human. You can find lots of answers to that question out there in the wider world, probably even right here on this lawn this morning among us. For some, a human being is an assemblage of specialized matter, atoms and elements, tissue, chemicals, systems, synapses, fascinatingly put together, to be sure, but at the end of the day, not really so different from the chair that you're sitting on, or the grass beneath your feet, or the bear that's been haunting campus these days and nights. Think of us as just high-end animals, winners, so far, in the evolutionary genetic lottery, top of the creaturely heap. Members of PETA, People for the Ethical Treatment of Animals, remind us that animals are people too, and hold fiercely that as top animals, we bear a moral responsibility for how we impact the other animals, which has always struck me as a curious moral conundrum, if only the fit survive. Others define what it means to be human in other ways. And each of you, 2016 Barons, each of you has your own working definition, too, of what it means to be human, whether you've ever articulated it or not. We all do. And based on that core, let's call it anthropology, we make very practical decisions every day about how we will live this next 24 hours, what we will do with our time, our energy, our bodies, our resources, each other, our work and our play, our words. See, it's all that humanities stuff again. We will pursue generally those things that we believe will make us more alive. And we'll try to avoid those things that will make us less alive, deader. Consider this event this morning. You would not be sitting here about to receive a Blue Ridge diploma if you and your family had really believed that going to this boys' boarding school was going to kill you. Yes, you had some off days and some dark nights when you might have felt that. But not for long, not really. Your family wanted you to live, to have what it takes to live well, to thrive as a viable adult man out there in the wider world. And so they sent you here, and you stuck it out. So we can only conclude that you likewise believed that being a Blue Ridge boy would somehow contribute to making you more alive, a better man, more human. Else, you would have lit out for the piney woods months ago, never to be heard of in St. George again. And this is what I want you to know this morning. We, your teachers, also have wanted this for you all year, in some cases all 4 years, that you would leave this place more alive, more fully human, as good young men because of your time here. It's why we got out of bed in the morning, taught your classes, cooked your food, bandaged your wounds, coached you, directed you, listened to you, challenged you, disciplined you, encouraged you to get up and try that again. All because we have a compelling idea of what it means to be human, to live well, to thrive. And we're so sold on that we've committed, some of us, decades to pouring into young lives all that we've got to contribute to you being more fully alive. Okay, that's the philosophical part. Now I'd like to speak just more personally. I can't represent to you the perspective of every teacher and administrator here. I can speak only for myself. I hold that to be human is a magnificent thing. That we are not accidental collocations of atoms without inherent purpose or essential significance. but we are designed creations, shot through with meaning and with value. Inherently noble, but also limited, flawed. Small g gods walking around with a bad limb. We are physical and intellectual. We're emotional and volitional. That means you've got a will. You decide things. We're relational and spiritual. We possess a sense of beauty and morals and meaning, itches that we cannot help but try to scratch. That's how I see you. That's how I see us. That's my perspective on what it means to be human. And therefore, it's the basis of how I tried to teach you and live with you here at Blue Ridge this year. So for the rest of my minutes here, I'd just like to toss out shotgun, scattershot, some observations, pieces of advice and counsel on how I believe you can be a better man, a better human being, how you might better thrive going forward. I love that phrase. It's quite a buzz phrase these days, going forward. These days, everything's going forward. When you're my age, that induces vertigo. But anyway, going forward. You will not remember all of these pearls of wisdom, and I don't want you even to try. Just sit back, listen, and see what lands, what sticks, if anything. I'd be curious to know, maybe 5 years from now, if any one of these found a home in you. This is how I'd like to do it. In the interest of retaining sentient consciousness for everybody, I'm going to take one of these lenses of what I think it means to be human and offer 1, 2, 3, occasionally 4 points. When I say 1, I just want you all to do this. That just keeps it going. And that also lets you know I'm finished with that one. And moving on to 2. Yep. 3. And if I ever do it, 4. Here we go. You are physical young men. 1. Engage the physical material world regularly. Virtual reality is one kind of reality, but it is not the whole picture. Work with real wood and water, dirt, gravity, electricity, plants, rocks. They have a lot to teach you directly that you cannot get from a screen or even a book. 2, learn the healthful rhythms of action and rest, starting now. Don't wait like I did. This is not laziness and path of least resistance sloth, but nor is it ceaseless, hard-charging effort that cannot stop. The ancient wisdom of Sabbath is worth considering as a pattern for human thriving. Some of you would do well to gear up on the action side, frankly. Get up and decide to do something. Get in shape. Take a backpacking trip. Build a piece of furniture. And others of you, honestly, need to learn how to stop, how to pause, rest, and recharge. 3, decide that you'll do what you can in your sector to care for this planet that we're sharing. It's a magnificent home, both large and resilient, and small and fragile. Matter matters. You are intellectual young men. So, 1, choose to expose yourself to viewpoints and ideas that are not already your own. To hang with, to listen to read only those who restate what you already believe will make you lazy and weak. Also prickly and boring. Practice considering the other side of an issue, which will mean some uncomfortable listening. Fine. Shut up and listen. Even while your mind is screaming, no! 2, read, read, read. I'm not going to defend that. I'm just going to say, do it. Read. Just decide. You will become more of a reader in the next chapter of your life than you've been so far. 3, be sharp observers of what is. That's the surface. But keep asking, searching for the hidden why beneath the surface. Number 4. This must be a good one. Reserve a 10% chance always that you could be wrong. You are emotional young men. 1. Don't be shy about feeling things deeply. I was shy, but I do feel things deeply. It's taken me years to be okay with that. Some of you are wired to feel things, sense things intuitively at a tremendous degree. Some of you are not. Great. Work with what you've got. Don't try to be like someone else in this. And no need to expect everyone else to be just like you in this. 2. But don't let your feelings drive you in the moment. As you navigate your way through your late teens, early 20s, most of you will feel some things very intensely. Exuberant moments of triumph, breakthrough, or relief. Crushing dark nights of despair. Go ahead, feel it all. But don't let the soaring or crashing feelings of the moment dictate significant life decisions and actions. At least sleep on it. See if it still seems so clear, so obvious, so imperative, so unbearable in a couple of days. Best not to make life-altering decisions past 10 o'clock at night. Not much of value has been decided past 10 o'clock at night. Or at the end of a term, during a break from school, right after going through a really tough failure, disappointment, or rejection. Take your time. 3, cultivate joy. Practice laughing at the humor all around you in life. I'm not talking about cynical, cheap shot humor, but solid, straightforward joy and delight. Those of you who are more wired for this, Jose, Reverend Ann, Hyrule, my dear wife, help out some of the rest of us who are the sullen, morose types, because we're not so good at this, but oh, we need it. We just have a hard time doing it. You are volitional young men. You have a will. 1, practice making challenging decisions. It takes courage to venture into the unknown. Choose to do hard things. 2, then keep your word. Try to stick to your intent, even when it's really hard. 3, be careful in how you exercise your will when it comes to others. History is littered with examples of men who had strong wills and used them to disastrous effects on others. Some of you are likely destined for leadership of one kind or another. My goodness, we've seen evidence of it through awards today and in all of our experience with you over the last years. Let your exercise of your will in leading others be less a matter of heavy-handed imposition, relying on your title or your position or threats or coercion. Might does not make right. Choose to be a young man whose character commands respect, and whose words and actions inspire heart respect. Remember, you're not really a leader until others choose to follow you. You are aesthetic, creative young men. 1, notice things. Yes, it's a tragically broken world. All is not okay, but there is so much of wonder and beauty around you, both natural and human-made. Expose yourself to it. 2, think across categories. This is humanities stuff. This is like that, and this might parallel that. And I wonder if anyone has ever set this next to that. 3, while holding history and precedent in great regard as a precious gift, and it is. Don't be afraid of the creativity killer, well, we've never done it that way before. Go ahead, try it. Nothing ventured, truly, nothing gained. If Frank Lloyd Wright had only designed houses according to the rules of architectural domestic design that he was taught, we wouldn't have Falling Water, the Guggenheim, or suburban brick ranch houses by the subdivision full. Not sure about that last one. I could do without, but still. You are relational young men. 1, start every human relationship you are in from a place of recognition of our shared basic humanity. Before what they can do, or what they can do to you, or for you. Before you assess their politics, their income level, their social status, how much education they have, before all of that, what you have in front of you right now is a human being. Start there. That's a magnificent being that you are about to relate to. I would go so far as to say a human-sized expression of God-sized personhood. That's my theology. Do not play fast and cheap with the image of God in humanity. 2, notice the overlooked and appreciate who's there. Ask people for their stories and then listen. 3, learn to shut up and listen. Did I already say that? I know. I say it again as possibly the most valuable thing you will bring into any human relationship of any kind. Learn to listen. Listen well. The 80-20 ratio ain't bad. Listen 80%, speak 20%. Except Tom Wong. Flip that. Finally, as spiritual young men, 1, don't be too quick to limit all possible reality to what can fit inside your young head or through your 5 senses. At least open a place for mystery. 2, and that takes humility. Get used to saying, I really don't know. 3, but then don't just sit there with a dead end, oh no, on the table. Ponder it. Do some research. Run an experiment in life. Be open and actually pursue something that may well remain beyond your understanding or full comprehension for years, possibly the rest of your life. Smug know-it-allness and stubborn non-commitment, neither are helpful. A few pearls of wisdom, if they're that. I'd be curious to know if any of those found a place in you 5 years from now. Even if not, my desire for you remains the same. I want you to live well, to thrive as the best human beings you can possibly be. Thank you.
I'm not going to cry this time, so I can take my sunglasses off. You put me up here. To you seniors who know me, you know that I am not the philosopher that we know Mr. Atkinson to be, and I can only aspire to have the unimaginable grasp of the English language that Mr. Young has, so that I can one day wield words with the weight of a wrecking ball or the gentle caress of a feather. Despite my shortcomings in these areas, I would say that I have lived an amazingly interesting life, filled with hard work and harder play. I have witnessed tragedies of all kinds firsthand. I have failed miserably, and I have felt the unimaginable grace of God. I don't know if these are qualifications for giving out advice, but since you put me here, I'm going to take the opportunity to do so. I'd like to offer you 2 quotes that I feel are worth remembering on how to make the most of the real world you are soon to enter. The first quote comes from the immortal words of Dirty Harry as played by Clint Eastwood, and it's not, "Do you feel lucky?" It is this: a man has got to know his limitations. A man has got to know his limitations. The second is a quote from Guru Dan Inosanto, who is the protege of the late great martial artist Bruce Lee. Guru Dan once said that low aim is one of the greatest crimes man can commit against himself. Low aim is one of the greatest crimes man can commit against himself. I stood there like that the whole time. I'd like to talk to you briefly about these two connected ideas and offer you some advice as we send you off into the world. For those of you who don't know it, high school isn't the real world. Life at Blue Ridge is confined, restrained, structured, and sheltered on purpose. This purpose is to provide you with the best setting we can, to get you the best education we can, to turn you into the best men we can, and to get you the tools to succeed in college and beyond. But I repeat, this is not the real world. For most of you, college is the next step, and you will get a taste of reality, but trust me, this is not the real world either. But it's close enough to act as a starting point for my purposes. So, in college, you will be free to do as you will. So now it's up to you to discover what your true limitations are. How hard can you play and still find time to study and make it to class with all of your assignments done? How many hours of rest do you need to stay awake in class? How much can your body and mind take when you truly push yourself? When you put the trappings of your ego and anxiety aside, what untapped abilities lie undiscovered within you? Are you willing and able to have the guts to release your self-inflicted limitations to discover them? The idea of limitations is not relegated just to the physical boundary. We at Blue Ridge School have a code of conduct, an honor code, and a character education program to help facilitate growth and maturity of high caliber men that the world so desperately needs. To that end, what is your personal limit on how much racial and gender injustice you are willing to put up with? What of the unsavory situation you will find yourself in someday? And how will you act when your character, your honor, or perhaps more importantly, that of somebody else's is on the line? Up until now, others have told you what your limitations are. Now, gentlemen, is the time for you to discover them, to create, to recreate your own limitations. The amazing thing about limitations is that it's up to you to decide which ones are or should be immovable, which ones are bendable, and which ones are designed to be broken. This brings me to my second quote. Low aim is one of the greatest crimes man can commit against himself. Quick story. After getting by through his sophomore year with a C average, my father was asked by my grandfather a very simple question. Did you do your best? My father's answer was no. My grandfather responded with 3 words and walked away. What a shame. What a shame. I think those 3 words can be followed with many varying endings. What a shame to not hold yourself to the highest standard you are capable of achieving. What a shame you let yourself be satisfied with mediocrity. What a shame you didn't take advantage of your privileged position. What a shame you didn't better respect the teacher who shared knowledge with you. Low aim is easy. Mediocrity is, well, mediocre. But are you willing to push yourself to know what you are truly capable of doing? Take this to heart. You, only you, know what you are truly capable of doing, and from now on, it is not for me or anyone else to tell you when you failed. Because I can tell you that sometimes what may look like failure is in fact a great success. You'll know it when you see it or even feel it, because a person who did their best will not make excuses when they fail. Think of Muhammad, who despite dealing with chronic back pain issues and who could have opted out, worked to complete about a third of our hike back in April. Those who finished could easily say that he failed to meet the task's requirements. On paper, this is correct, and very often what's on paper does matter, but only as much as you let it. For truly, who are we to judge? Only he knows how much he pushed himself. Well, him and anyone who saw him after the first 2 miles. What I can say is that I saw Muhammad pushing himself to and then beyond his limits, and I respect him for that. I think most of you had to dig deep at some point. Some of you, as I heard, even tied others to yourselves to help carry them up the hills. There are not words to express the pride in that type of action. Could some of you have run the 20+ miles without issue? Probably. Sasha Ryan, for one. No, excuse me, Yadrzinski. Sasha Yadrzinski. Where's Brother Minister with his glasses on? Malik Johnston. Think though, what does it mean for those who weren't tested or didn't have to try? Because when taken out of the context of a hike, how much higher should you aim in areas where you already excel? Whether physically, mentally, socially, emotionally. For what a shame it would be to aim so low as to always only just succeed according to others' standards. So as you go out into the world, remember, a man has got to know his limitations, and low aim is one of the greatest crimes man can commit against himself. For it is important to always know your limitations, but to never let your limitations be an excuse for low aim in anything that you do. Thank you, gentlemen. It's been a privilege.
Good morning. One more time. Good morning. Good morning. My name's Joe Zhao from Shanghai, China. And I'm here today to speak to you guys. Sounds kind of scary, huh? So first I want to give thanks to Matt Minford, Mr. Zhang Yang, and Felicia, who is a good friend of mine, for helping me finish this speech. 3 years ago, I arrived at Dalian International Airport with 130 pounds of luggage. My mom, who is here today, Mom, can you please stand up? All right, you can sit down. She was very worried about me coming to the United States by myself. And she actually wanted me to carry an oxygen tank as a safety precaution. I don't know whether she thought I would run out of air on an airplane, or the Los Angeles air is unbreathable, or, something else. That might sound kind of ridiculous to you Americans, but I was only 15 years old. and the reality of living and studying abroad was largely unknown to my family. On my way to Blue Ridge for the very first time, I was asking myself, why am I going to spend the next 3 years of my life in the middle of nowhere? For my whole life, I've been living in Shanghai, which is like the New York City of China. And Blue Ridge School was nothing like what I was used to. I had an idea of where I would be going, but I was not expecting to be surrounded by all these beautiful mountains and huge trees. I find it rather difficult to describe what I felt during my first few weeks here. But one question stood out in my mind. I'm sorry, I gotta say it again. I'm kind of nervous. But one question stood out in my mind. Why here? I do not think we who chose Blue Ridge all came with clear reasons. I didn't. But rather, we came here to find them. We set aside a period of time in our lives to stop here and join a band of brothers who lived without girls or proms, without Chipotle or Chick-fil-A. But we did have 1055 lights out, limited Wi-Fi, occasional cold shower, and neither burgers, no cards. From the very first day on campus, I had to begin making my own decisions. First, I had to pick a sport. I wanted to try American football, but I gave up the moment I saw a fauna in a tank top walking back from the gym. Where's the fauna? That was pretty scary. So I picked what I thought would be the easiest afternoon activities: mountain biking. And for those of you who have never tried mountain biking before, I have a tip. If you are looking for an easy sport, don't try it. But I'm not a quitter, so I stuck with it for the next 2 years. As I rode more and more, I began to see that the time we spent here is a lot like a mountain bike race. We challenge and compete against each other. Everyone has his own result after each race. But at the end of the day, our class has scored together as a team. Our class is a team with unique individuals, and I have a few examples right here. At 2 o'clock in the morning, you can basically have Muhammad walk into your room to evaluate your current psychological status. That sentence was hard for me to say it. It was complicated. Or Sasha pissing his pants while screaming in Russian while he rides beside you on a roller coaster. And we can all guess what he was saying, Or Spencer Simon with his buddy, Senator Rand Paul, attempting to reorganize the school with his libertarian beliefs. We came here to join a band of brothers who come from different countries, who speak different languages, yet we can still march together at the same pace. As an international student myself, I'm more than proud to say this is a community where diversity and inclusiveness are always fighting against prejudice and stereotypes. So earlier I said I didn't know why I came here, but there was one reason, that was for sure. I came here to learn. And trust me, that is very true. But other than academic challenges we have faced in our classrooms, I was also learning things that were taught beyond the walls of academic hall. About a month ago, I spent a Sunday afternoon with Mr. Jerry King, who is my senior humanities teacher. On a sunny afternoon, we simply laid down on the field beside the gym, and we talked. It was a conversation about things like family, our beliefs, and faith, core value stuff. And I was rather surprised by Mr. King's openness to exchange with me his life experiences. The more we talked, the more I realized that Mr. King, instead of being just a well-educated teacher, was also a human with weakness and flaws, just like you and me. That, for me, was the education beyond the classroom. At Blue Ridge School, valuable lessons like this are never too hard to find, and I feel grateful for that. Thank you, faculties. My dad, who is also here today, also used to tell me that stories are powerful. So in this special moment, I would like to share a story of mine with you. 2 months ago, I went on a trip to California to visit UC Berkeley. My hotel was in downtown San Francisco, so I had to get up early to take a subway to get there. So it was about 7:40 when I arrived at downtown Berkeley, where the main campus of the school is located. I got off the train and walked out of the station. It was cold outside and it was raining. So I stopped at the exit to put on my jacket, and then I saw a lady who was in her 60s, wearing only a t-shirt, playing guitar in the rain. She was homeless. There are a lot of homeless people around the Bay Area, and I thought the best thing for me to do was to pretend that I didn't see her. And that's what I did. I just put on my jacket and walked into the rain. Soon I could see the Berkeley campus down the street, but then something started to bother me as I walked. I felt uneasy and tried to figure what's going on in my mind. And I figured the picture of that lady playing guitar was what was bothering me. There were only a few students walking by on the campus, and it was a perfect time to, take some pictures, walk around, and enjoy the view. But I was still distracted by the image. It was like something was pounding on my heart, deep inside of me. For some unknown reason, a voice was telling me to go back. So after another 10 minutes, I eventually decided that I would listen to what my heart said. And I ran back and tried to find that lady to make it right. And luckily, that lady was still there. I did not look at her as I put some money into the guitar box, because for some reason, I feel pretty upset. But as I turned away from her, I heard her say, "Thank you." Then the pounding was gone, and the memory of that thank you has stuck with me ever since. Here ends my little story. What made me want to go back? So at the beginning of my talk, I said, we came here to find our reasons. And it was at that moment I ran back to the lady. I found mine. It dawned on me that I came to Blue Ridge to pursue a better understanding of sympathy, sincerity, and faith in humanity. Somewhere in my years here, the brotherhood we have shared together has taught these values to me. So we came here to join Band of Brothers, and the marching of class 2016 is coming to an end. In a few hours, we'll be on our way, spreading out in many different directions our lives will take us. But as General MacArthur once said, "All soldiers just fade away." And so in a sense shall the class of 2016. I feel honored to be sitting here with all 39 of you, including Mamadi, graduating. And although this is the last time we will all be here together, the legacy we had left will never be erased from school's history. Throughout our lives, we have made thousands of decisions, but rarely did we reach down to find a reason for making them. So I want to end my talk not with a quote, not with a punchline, but with a question to everyone that's here today. What is your reason? Good luck, class of 2016. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Joe. You're also an example of why we get up in the morning, as Mr. King said. Great job. Well, we've been here a while. You've stuck through our tributes to these young men. Colby Birchfield is sweating crazily. His face is as red as his hair. So it's now time to get to the part that we all came here for. The awardings of the diplomas for the class of 2016. First, though, I want to introduce the chairman of the Blue Ridge Board of Trustees, class of 1968, Mr. Dickie Brawley, who will hand diplomas to our graduates. And a note to family members and friends. When I call out a graduate's name, I ask that those family members and friends stand up along with their advisor. But please hold your applause until Mr. Brawley hands the diploma. And then you can just go nuts. But just wait until that point, please. Thank you. It was comfortable in those chairs, right? Jason Edward Hess, Student Council President, from Potomac Falls, Virginia, accompanied by Mr. and Mrs. David Hess, a 3-year student, will attend Virginia Polytechnic Institute and State University. Zhou Ziyua, Student Council Vice President, from Shanghai, China, accompanied by Mr. Zhou Zhen and Mrs. Wang Qinping. A 3-year student will attend University of California, Berkeley. Ho Xianda, Student Council Representative, from Luoyang, China, accompanied by Mrs. Pang Jingjun. A 4-year student will attend University of Washington. Jonathan Cole Jackson, Student Council Representative from St. Petersburg, Florida, accompanied by Mr. Ray Jackson and Mrs. Kim Lance Jackson. A 3-year student will attend University of Mississippi. Yusuf Abdul Qadir, from Fairfax, Virginia, accompanied by Dr. Khalid Abdelkader and Mrs. Hana Heguzi. A 3-year student will attend Queen's University. Spencer Marcus Ammon from Abingdon, Virginia, accompanied by Mr. and Mrs. Richard Ammon. A 3-year student will attend the University of Tennessee. Watanyu Apipataraglu from Kongen, Thailand, accompanied by Mr. and Mrs. John Thompson, a 4-year student. He'll spend 1 year in Japan in order to learn Japanese so he can attend Kyoto Seika University. Abdallah Bashir from Giza, Egypt, accompanied by Mr. Ahmed El-Kazafi Shaban, a 3-year student, will attend University at Buffalo. Aaron Jeremiah Brown from Clinton, Maryland, accompanied by Mr. and Mrs. Jerry Brown. A 3-year student will attend Hampton University. Harry Winters Buchanan V from Waterford, Virginia, accompanied by Dr. Harry Buchanan IV and Mrs. Sharon Buchanan. A 2-year student will attend the University of Alabama. Colby Edward Birchfield from Northport, Alabama, accompanied by Mr. and Mrs. John Birchfield and Mrs. Julie Whitehorn. A 3-year student will attend Beacon University. Chen Shangqin from Beijing, China, accompanied by Mr. Chen Wenji and Mrs. Liu Xingli. A 4-year student will attend Rochester Institute of Technology. James Fuller Crocker from Mountain Brook, Alabama, accompanied by Mr. Jimmy Crocker. A 2-year student will attend Delta State University for Commercial Aviation. Mamadi Diakite from Conakry, Guinea, accompanied by Mr. and Mrs. Cade Lemke. A 2-year student is currently attending the University of Virginia. Jose Guadalupe Espinosa Vargas from Durham, North Carolina, accompanied by Ms. Maria Vargas. A 4-year student will attend Guildford College. Gao Jiacheng from Fuzhou, Fujian, China, accompanied by Mr. Gao Lensheng and Mrs. Gao Yayung. A 2-year student will attend Pennsylvania State University, Harrisburg. Noah Jesse from McLean, Virginia, accompanied by Mr. Stephen Jesse and Mrs. Catherine Booker. A 4-year student will attend Davis and Elkins College. Zhang Shanyi from Shanghai, China, accompanied by Mr. Zhang Wei and Mrs. Hong Shan. A 3-year student will attend Rensselaer Polytechnic Institute. Malik Renato Johnson from Chesterfield, Virginia, accompanied by Mr. and Mrs. Robert Johnson. A 2-year student will attend Canisius College. Javon Lamar King, also known as Jamil. He told me to say that. From Oakland, California, accompanied by Mr. Bernard King Jr. and Mrs. Lakeisha May, a 2-year student considering Lewisburg College in pursuit of basketball dreams. Andrew Carl Harrison Link from Longmont, Colorado, accompanied by Ms. Kimberly Link and Mr. David Link. A 3-year student will attend Virginia Polytechnic Institute and State University. Matthew Grant Minford from Naples, Florida, accompanied by Mr. and Mrs. Peter Minford. A 2-year student will attend Elon University. Connor Crosby Morgan from New Orleans, Louisiana, accompanied by Mr. and Mrs. Archibald Morgan IV. A 3-year student will attend Purdue University. Afana Harold Ofor from Germantown, Maryland, accompanied by Dr. Evelyn Ofor, a 4-year student, considering Belmont Abbey University, also in pursuit of basketball dreams. Logan Moore Parrish from Georgetown, Maryland, accompanied by Captain and Mrs. Theodore Parrish, a 4-year student, will attend Embry-Riddle Aeronautical University. Junghyun Park from Seoul, South Korea, accompanied by Mrs. Kyung Ok Jung, a 3-year student, will attend George Mason University. Felipe Reina from Saltillo, Coahuila, Mexico, accompanied by Ms. Adriana Parra, a 3-year student, will attend Full Sail University. Daisuke Shiraishi from Tokyo, Japan, accompanied by Mr. and Mrs. Tadashi Shiraishi. A 3-year student will attend Northeastern University. Mohammed Ilshahat Shokir from Cairo, Egypt, accompanied by Mr. Ilshahat Shokir and Mrs. Marwa Sayer Dayer. A 3-year student will attend Roanoke College. Paul Jomaliu Sienke from Washington, D.C., accompanied by Mr. Jean-Pierre Jomaliu and Mrs. Margaret Etukeni, a 2-year student considering Barry University. Scott Hertzfeld Spencer from Suffolk, Virginia, accompanied by Mr. and Mrs. Scott Spencer, a 2-year student, will attend Clemson University. Zachary Mark Temin from Dunwoody, Georgia, accompanied by Mr. and Mrs. Robert Temin and Mr. and Mrs. John Klosky. A 3-year student will attend High Point University. Wang Jinhua from Shenzhen, China, accompanied by Mr. Wang Geng and Mrs. Xu Bei. A 3-year student will attend Pennsylvania State University, York. Wang Zhuhang from Beijing, China, accompanied by Mr. Wang Kunju. A 4-year student will attend University of Illinois, Urbana-Champaign. Ratavius Tay Anthony Watts from Richmond, Virginia, accompanied by Mr. William Morris and Mrs. Yolanda Youngblood. A 4-year student will attend North Carolina Wesleyan College. Jonah Mark Warner from Richmond, Virginia, accompanied by Mr. and Mrs. Mark Warner. A 3-year student will attend Virginia Commonwealth University. Wu Haotian from Luan, China, accompanied by Mrs. Marcia Kozlowski. A 4-year student will attend Rensselaer Polytechnic Institute. Alexander Yadrishensky from Moscow, Russia, accompanied by Mr. and Mrs. Alexander Yadrishensky. A 2-year student will attend Virginia Commonwealth University. Simon Yang from Incheon, South Korea, accompanied by Ms. Kate Ying. A 2-year student will attend University of California, San Diego. And finally, Yin Suchao from Chongqing, China, accompanied by Mr. Yin Guo Jun and Mrs. Ren Li Juen, a 4-year student who will attend University of California, Santa Barbara. That's the first time. I thought you were going to tackle me or something there. On behalf of the faculty and staff of Blue Ridge School, I very proudly present the graduated class of 2016.
And if you will all just remain standing for a moment, we will end with the blessing. Before I offer the blessing, though, I would like to do what has been done so many Tuesday and Thursday mornings in chapel, and Mr. Dean's high recommendation, the peace of the Lord be always with you. Please greet your brother or sister with peace. And now I offer a blessing for these fine young men and for all of us. May God's blessing follow you all as you find new journeys to travel. May you walk safely along the pathways of your dream. May God's gentle hand guide the decisions you make and the passions that you follow. May your heart and lives always reflect love and truth. And may hope be a light within you that you carry into each new day as you go. And the peace of God, Father, Son, and Holy Spirit be with each of you today and always. Amen.
All right, these guys are now going to retreat to change and get ready for a swim. I suggest all spectators kind of remain away from this central area. Great opportunity along the rail to get pictures. Gentlemen, commence with your swim.
Hey, Wendy. You there? Oh, you're jumping in? Yeah. You ready? You ready? You ready? Your first swim?